When you deploy a report part, the server assigns it a unique ID so that the part on the server can maintain a relationship with the reports that it's used in. If you update the report part on the server, the next time any report that uses the part is rendered, you can opt to retain the old version of the report part or the new version. Now you can publish several different kinds of items as report parts, including charts, gauges, images, lists, maps, matrices, parameters, rectangles, and tables. If the report item displays data, in particular a list, table, or matrix data region, or a chart, the data set bound to the item is saved with the report part, either embedded within the part or separately on the server. If you save it separately, you can use it as a shared data set in another report, independent of the report part. So you have a lot of flexibility in how you design these components. If the report item contains other items, such as text boxes within a rectangle, all of the contained items become part of the report part. Then, in order to use a report part in a new report, you can use the report part gallery in Report Builder. The gallery lets you connect to a report server and search and filter report parts to help you find what you need. When you add a report part to a report, you automatically add everything the report part needs to work in the new report, which is most frequently going to be data sets. And then you can use as many report parts in a report that you want to. So let's take a look at an example of creating and using a report part. Here's a report that I created earlier. It displays the Adventure Works products by category. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a report part from the tablets, really a table, but beneath the table is a tablets. So I'm going to create a report part that consists of this section of the report right there. And then I'll use the report part in a new report so you can see how easy the whole process is. Alright, so first thing I need to do is select the tablets. So I'll select there and just select that upper corner there, and then that selects the tablets as a single object. Then I'll select the Report Builder button up here and the Publish Report Parts item. Okay, that opens the Publish Report Parts dialog box. And this gives you a couple options for how you publish the report part. So you can either publish all the report parts with default settings or review and modify them before publishing. So I'm going to select Review and Modify Report Parts Before Publishing because I want to be able to select what to publish. Change its name, add a description, do various things like that. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Alright, so that opens up this Publish Report Parts dialog box with this Select Report Parts to Publish. Because I had an object already selected within the Report Designer, that's selected here within the dialog box. Alright, I can select this text, and I'm going to change the name of it to Products Tablets. And hit Enter. Okay, so that's going to be the name of the report part on the server. Alright, I'll click this arrow right there, and I can add a detailed description. Anything that's going to make it easier for people to find this report part, identify that it's something that they want to use within their report, and then include it in their new report. So I'm going to change this to table that displays all products by category with product name, part number, and list price. Averages list price by category and overall. Okay, so you can include as detailed or as simple the description as you want, but just make sure that it's enough so that people can identify that this is a report part that they want to use. Okay, and I can also change the report server folder if I want to, but I'm going to use the default. Generally, you're going to want a single location for all of the report parts on a report server, but you can create subfolders with functional areas or different folders or put them wherever you want. Okay, so at this point I'm ready, but one other thing to point out is that if I wanted to save the data set separately from the report part, then I could click this checkbox right there. And I could give it a different name, different description, and so forth. But by not checking it, the data set is going to be embedded within the report part. So if I'm not going to reuse this data set, there's no reason to include it as a separate item on the report server. And that's what I'm going to do here, more or less just to keep things simple. Okay, so when I've made all the changes that I want, I just need to click on Publish, and it goes out, assuming I have permissions to do this on the folder and so forth, and publishes that to the specified report server. All right, as you can see, once it finishes, we get this result. It's sort of a funky result. 0 report parts failed to publish, 1 published successfully. Okay, well, kind of a funky way of putting it in there, but you think you put the successful stuff first and the failed stuff second, but I guess it kind of highlights when something goes wrong. Anyway, it will give you some indication if there was a problem, what the problem was. Okay, so I'll close that dialog box and come back over here to my report manager. And I'll go ahead and refresh this. And notice that I now have a report parts folder. And I can click on that, and there's that products tablix. And it has the description and so forth. And I have some options here to move, delete, security, manage, and download. So we've published a report part, and now we can use the report part in a new report. So I'll go back over here to Report Builder, go up here to the Report Builder button, select New, and do I want to save the changes? I don't remember if I made any changes, but I'll save them. Okay, and then I get this new report or data set. So in this case, I want to create a blank report, so I have a clean slate on which to work. And that opens up the new report within the designer. So now I can go in here into the Insert menu, select Report Parts, and that opens up the Report Part Gallery. Notice that nothing is listed because I need to search or find things. So I can enter a search term in the box at the top of the gallery here in order to search the report parts. But if I want to get a full list of all of the report parts, I can just leave that box empty and click on the search icon. Now in this particular case, I only have a single report part on the server, so only one is listed, and I get the products tablix there. But after I develop a number of reports and include more report parts, there may be a number of items that are listed here. And that's where searching by the name becomes useful if it's a really long list. And I can also switch over here to just a list. So that makes it a little bit easier to scroll down a list of things. Okay, I'll leave the default set there. All right, so all I need to do is drag this over to my report designer. I'll go ahead and close that. Done with that. And I can select it and position it a little bit nicer. Notice that there's some snap to grid kind of functionality, so it by default puts it 5 points below the item above it, in this case a text box for the title. And as you can see, it's the same appearance as that table was in the other report. Okay, so I'll change the title just so we know that it's a different report and call this Products Using Report Part. Now obviously, you generally aren't going to put a name on something that describes technical details of how the report was created, but this serves to distinguish it from that other report that I created earlier. All right, so at this point I can go back over to Home and Run, and as you can see, the report is the exact same as the report that I created earlier, because I just took that table in that old report, created a report part, published to the server, used it in a new report, and now I have all the functionality of that table now within this new report. So in this particular case, everything but the report title was included in the report part, so I got everything but the report title in my new report. So you can see just how easy it is to use these report parts within a new report. All right, so I will go ahead and publish this report. Notice that I haven't previously saved it, so I get this dialog box. By default, I get the same location where I published reports earlier. Notice that I have a folder now called Report Parts because that was created on the server. And then I can give this report a name. And I will call this Products by Category. Report Part. Slightly misleading name, but it works. And I'll save that and come back again, once again, over here. And go home. And notice that we have the second report. I can run the report here as well, and I end up with the same report. Now, one of the nicest features of report parts is that once you publish it and use it in any reports, you can update the part. Then Reporting Services gives report developers the option of using the old or updated version of the report part and saving the updated report back to the server. All right, so I'm going to go back over here to Report Manager, go down into Report Parts, and change something about this part. So I'll do a Manage, and I will say Great Part with Table that displays. Okay, so I've just changed the description. I haven't changed anything else about it. So I'll click on Apply there, and then I can go back to Home and go back down into Report Parts, and you can see the changed description. So I've changed something about it. But also, I could actually change the report part. Maybe I add a column, remove a column, change something about the data set. It could be a structural changes as well. All right, so I'll come back over here, and I'll come back over to Design, and I will open a report. So I'm going to open this report. Even though it's currently open, I'm reopening it. And notice that I get this message, Updated Report Parts. One published report parts in this report have been updated on the server. And so I can view the updates, see what changed, modified, notify me, and so forth. Okay, and that closes it. And I also, through that dialog box, have the option of choosing to use the new report part or continue to use the one that's already embedded within the report.